We believe that some stories, well, they just have to be challenged.
And this exploration is really part of our ongoing look at how fiction can shed light on moral truths, human thinking, and ethical imbalances.
Exactly, because fiction, even though it's imagined, it always mirrors the, let's say, the moral structure of reality.
And just so you know, you're experiencing a unique two-host AI conversation today. It's powered by Google's NotebookLM, which helps us create, well, deeper and more dynamic book analyses.
Today we're digging into a classic, S.E. Hinton's The Outsiders.
Right. We'll be analyzing it using some critical thinking tools, frameworks like Paul and Elders, and ideas from intellectual ethics folks like Adler, concepts like the Golden Rule, even the U.S. Preamble.
Our goal here is to really unpack the philosophical ideas tucked inside this story, giving you an understanding that goes way beyond just, what happens.
So maybe we should start with the big question the book throws at us.
Let's. What does this story really claim about justice? Especially when being innocent just isn't enough to keep you safe.
Oof, yeah. That question hits right at the core social problem in the book, because the setting immediately presents this ethical chasm.
You got the greasers on one side.
Bound by this intense loyalty, yeah. And then the Sox, pretty much defined by their money and privilege.
So the fundamental question the book seems to be asking is, what's it saying about human nature when you pit self-identity against group identity like that?
Right. Because the easy answer is just, oh, you're a greaser or you're a sock, and that's it. That dictates everything.
But the book makes it messy right away, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That's kind of where the real claim is hiding, under all the emotion. It forces you to look past the leather jackets and the fancy cars.
Exactly. The claim, I think, is that who you are is way more complicated than just your social group or your neighborhood.
You give an example?
Sure. Think about Ponyboy's older brother, Derry. On the surface, he's tough. He lives the greaser life. But is he defined by being rebellious? Not really.
No, he's defined by responsibility, right? He gave up college.
He gave up a scholarship to keep his brothers together after their parents died. So the label greaser, that's external. But his character, the truth of him, that's all internal drive and sacrifice.
Okay, so that difference, the outside label versus the inside virtue, that sets up the main themes we need to look at. It's not just about gang fights. It's about how corrosive social class and stereotypes can be.
And that desperate search for, personal integrity when you're surrounded by group pressure and, frankly, a lot of violence.
You really see that push and pull between being good, just surviving, and fitting in. It's constant.
It is. And this is where someone like Mortimer Adler comes in handy. He talks about the difference between knowledge, like hard, provable facts, and understanding.
Okay, what's understanding then?
Understanding is more about reflective comprehension. It often comes from experience, emotion. It's deeper than just knowing a fact. Hinton's book, I'd argue, offers understanding.
So what does that mean for us as readers? How does it change how we should approach Ponyboy's narration?
Well, it means the evidence we get isn't objective data. It's rooted in the raw emotional reality of these kids' lives. We're essentially seeing trauma being processed into insight.
Ah, okay. So when Ponyboy starts to see that the Sox have their own problems too.
Right. He's not learning new facts about them necessarily. He's gaining a deep understanding that they're human too, just in a different way. It's that subjective, emotional viewpoint that helps us reflect.
That makes sense. And that viewpoint feels really critical when we talk about ethical asymmetry.
Definitely.
Because this deep divide between the groups, the greasers and Sox, it completely messes with the golden rule, doesn't it? Treat others as you want to be treated.
How can you? The class biases, the stereotypes, they literally blind each side to what the other actually needs or feels. They can't see each other clearly.
And the book shows that this asymmetry isn't just about who wins a fight. It's about whose actions get a pass from society and whose get punished.
Absolutely. And the most painful example of that ethical imbalance, I think, is Johnny Cade.
Oh, definitely. He's abused, he's terrified, long before the main tragic events.
And then he performs this incredibly brave, selfless act, saving those kids.
Which costs him everything. The system, society, it failed him way before the fire. It sort of gave the Sox permission to torment him.
Making him this permanent outsider, this victim. His survival instincts then lead to a tragic choice, which ironically makes him a hero.
But a dead hero. His whole story just embodies that plea from the book to stay gold, doesn't it? To hold on to something
It
good.
really does. And if Johnny shows the cost of that ethical imbalance, Ponyboy's journey shows the evolution that comes from seeing it up close.
Yeah, he starts out pretty naive. It's black and white, greasers good, socks bad.
But he has this unusual empathy, partly from his love of books and movies, maybe, and it pushes him towards this really hard-won maturity where he has to look beyond the labels. He becomes the kind of observer the book wants us to be.
But it's not just Ponyboy learning. The narrative doesn't let the socks stay as just cardboard villains either.
No, and that's why Cherry Valance is such a crucial character.
She's the bridge, right? She reaches across that class line.
She really does. She complicates that simple us versus them idea. She forces Ponyboy and us to have a bit of intellectual humility.
How so?
Well, she admits the socks have problems too. Different problems, maybe feeling too much or too little, feeling empty rather than deprived, but problems nonetheless.
And by talking to Ponyboy, by connecting,
She shows that underneath the sock jacket or the greaser hair, there's shared humanity. That conversation is vital for challenging those biases we just inherit.
yeah, those small moments of connection, they carry so much weight in the story. Like Cherry and Ponyboy realizing they see the same sunset.
It's such a simple image, but really powerful. It's an allegory, almost.
What do you mean?
Well, they're separated by everything, class, neighborhood, expectations, but they both look for beauty in the same place. That shared experience just quietly insists that some things transcend those rigid social boxes we put ourselves in.
And that shared impulse, that search for beauty, that feels like the heart of the stay gold symbol.
I think so too. It stands for holding on to hope, onto beauty, onto compassion. Even when everything around you is falling apart or trying to harden you, it's like an ethical command: choose empathy.
It's interesting how much the story relies on emotional reasoning then.
Oh, absolutely. Fear, empathy, shame. They're not just feelings, they act as motivators, as forms of reasoning for the characters.
Like the greaser's fierce loyalty.
Exactly. That's driven by emotion, by shared vulnerability, and that same emotional bond makes incredible sacrifice possible, like at the church fire.
So the tricky part is figuring out where emotion helps clarify what's right and where it just clouds things.
Well, you see it cloud judgment pretty clearly during the Rumble, right?
Yeah, that's all about revenge, shame, fear,
Yeah.
and it solves nothing.
Nothing at all. It just keeps the cycle of violence going. But then emotion clarifies things during the fire. Empathy for those kids overrides self-preservation for Johnny and Ponyboy.
Leading to Johnny's selfless act.
Right. So the story keeps asking, is it our environment that dictates these choices? Or is it something inside the individual?
And if you pull back even further, connect this whole conflict to a bigger picture, like, say, the U.S. Preamble.
You see how the violence really challenges those ideals of justice and domestic tranquility?
It really highlights how far that little community is from being a more perfect union.
Absolutely. The preamble talks about establishing justice, ensuring peace within the community. But what does the book show us? Social structures, the police, the courts, even how stories are told that actively break the community apart.
Treating the socks and greasers completely differently.
Exactly. Turning kids into casualties of a biased system. The failure of domestic tranquility isn't just random bad luck. It feels systemic in the story.
This kind of deeper analysis, looking past the plot to the claims underneath, that's really what we aim for. And by the way, if you find this kind of critical approach to literature interesting, you should check out Mindful Moments.
Yeah, that's our YouTube channel. We offer AI-powered book analysis, summaries, critiques. It's all about inspiring reflection and rational thought.
And it can be pretty valuable for aspiring authors, too, seeing how stories are put together and what makes them resonate.
Okay, so pulling this all together, synthesizing, we have to look at the book's logical coherence, right? Does it hold together?
I think Hinton's big achievement is the honesty of the characters,
Yeah.
especially Ponyboy. You feel that emotional truth through his voice.
Yeah, he manages to turn his trauma into a kind of wisdom by the end, writing it all down. And the narrative evidence, the plot, how characters change, the themes, it all seems to strongly support that core ethical idea. Empathy is crucial, maybe even necessary for survival.
It is a powerful book, and it doesn't offer easy answers or simple redemptions, which I appreciate,
Yeah.
but it still finds, like, beauty and resilience.
So the key takeaways.
Okay, first, empathy has to cut across labels. Who you are is way more complex than your social group. Staying trapped in those labels, you miss the humanity.
Second, violence is shown as utterly tragic and pointless. It comes from misunderstanding, from oppression. It's devastating, never glorified.
Definitely not glorified. And third, that message, stay gold.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about being naive. It's a hard, ongoing moral choice. It's possible, the book suggests, but necessary, even when you're suffering.
I think the story lasts because it forces us, really demands that we see the outsiders and the insiders as equally human. Capable of terrible cruelty, yes, but also incredible grace.
Which leaves final thought maybe for you listening, reflecting on that demand to see everyone's humanity. How does this book challenge your own inherited biases, your own cultural assumptions? Does it invite you to think more rationally about the systemic problems that the fiction brings to light?
It's definitely a story that stays with you and pushes you to look harder.
It really does. Okay, click the link on screen if you want to subscribe, share, maybe purchase the book via the link, and definitely keep thinking rationally.
And you can find many more genre-based book analyses like this over at Mindful Moments. Subscribe and nourish your mind on the go.